all this year, apart from the one game at Perth.
Well, match of the round between the Sydney Swans and the West Coast Eagles. Two top umpires, Robinson, who bounced the ball, and Peter Cameron, and Gerard Healy for the Swans. Boots the visitors into attack, up to Kappa from behind, but in front O'Connell. Pack at ground level, and a ball up, says umpire Cameron, and then belatedly, because of a late infringement, decides to give a free kick the way of the West Coast Eagles.
It was against Wayne Henwood. He was number 9, who hurted himself over the top of O'Connell and hurt him a bit. O'Connell didn't enjoy it, and I don't blame him. He sends it out wide, well directed. No, in front it should have been taken by Neagle, picked up by Toohey. Toohey doesn't cover far. Healy once again to Williams. Williams down towards centre half forward. Bayes in front and didn't hold it quite long enough. Fights on. Down he goes. Henwood's in the thick of things too, and eventually it's wide out wide.
Bayes for a push in the back, said umpire Cameron. Bit ticky Touchwood, but paid. Good kick. Almost a mark to Morwood. Forced through for a behind. He might curse himself for that because he had hands on the ball but couldn't hold it. The first score of the match is a behind to the Sydney Swans.
With O'Connell now, very long and lean. Almost took a good one in front of Kappa just a few moments ago. Sends it out wide looking for Keane. Keane's the big tall fellow. Ironmonger's the one who put it down. Matera fumbles badly. Picked up by Stevie Wright. Out towards the flank it goes, and Bolton's the man who juggles it. Juggles again, right on the boundary line. David Bolton shoots for goal and kicks it very badly. The roar of the crowd will tell you that.
Yes, if it had been a goal, it would have been deathly silence, but the roar indicated a bad kick, and Lamb takes the free for the Eagles. Nice left footer. Glendinning up, and the ball forced over the line, so a throw in on the Swans half forward flank. 2 minutes gone, the Swans one behind, the Eagles yet to break the ice.
It's Ross Glendinning in camera, big leap from behind. Play on, says to Wright, and Wright shoots for an open goal, and Wright has kicked it very, very well. One of the very experienced players in the camp, and play stopped Hayden, but on it went. He had a easy point.
Yes, I think everybody did stop then. This is a new rule where the advantage is paid in the case of a free kick being awarded to a player. He says play on, and that's been done this year, and a lot of players are slow to wake up to that and not restricting that player with the ball, so it has to come back to him, to his teammate.
There wasn't complete silence as that went through. There was a bit of booing. So 1-1 plays nothing, and the Swans have made a good start. They've made a tremendous start to this season. Anir forced to get the hand pass off. Zanotti now off the side of the boot under pressure. Toohey first there, just inside, but can do nothing but take it over. Just the Eagles attacking side of the wing. They haven't been into attack as yet. Let's see if they can from this throw-in.
Toohey and Carroll both passed fitness tests, and on the ground Keane very high. Healy again, hit by Carroll across over the line from Holden, and it'll be thrown in right in front of here on the half-forward flank of the grandstand side. The Eagles haven't got up to that 50-metre line. Here comes John Ironmonger in front, and Keane again beautifully over the top, but couldn't find a rover. Ironmonger pushed by Wiley. Umpire Peter Cameron comes in and has a little chat and decides he'll bounce.
Still virtually on the centre line. Second place Swans against the 8th place Eagles. Keane front posse. Williams brought to ground, again a ball up.
I noticed, Tim, that the Sydney Swans have black armbands. It's not often you see those now, but it must be some very important death of somebody in the club.
Keane a big knock. Holmes the chance now. Gets the lead from Bennett. Delivers nicely. Great chance. He couldn't hold the mark. Browning with that lovely raking left footer. Henwood in front. Glendinning the spoil. Narkle. Neat work and nice delivery.
Davidson out wide to looking for Malaxos. Malaxos props against Toohey. Bennett, I thought, pushed his opponent in the back. But not so. Before that, there's a free kick being awarded to Steve Malaxos, wide out there on the other half-forward flank. He'd be about 65 metres from goal when he comes into kick.
Used his body very well there, Doug, propping in front. And the free kick was there, but it was earned, that one.
He'd be dying to make good. Well, Stephen Malaxos against the Victorian sends it out wide. Looking for Lewis. Lewis, the one-hander! He juggled it and held it long enough. Well, there's that magical skill again, Hayden.
Yes, he's one of three sons of a former Claremont player, Erwin Lewis, who could do just that as well. So it runs in the family.
Well, it's hereditary. mind having him for my father, because we're going to see some of the amazing freaky skills of the Aborigines from Chris Lewis. Comes in, kicks for goal, and kicks it very well. What an authoritative-looking kick it was. This young man's only 17 years old, the youngest player on the ground, and he just did it all like a veteran.
Still at school in Christchurch, yeah. Golly, so...
a good player in school football.
He was. In fact, he's been an up-and-coming, one of the up-and-coming best juniors in this state for quite a long while.
Magic, great mark. And the Eagles' first goal, so they trail by a point. And certainly the crowd approved of that. Robinson to bounce. Ironmonger against Keane. Favours Keane, who has to go the defensive side of the pack. Renstead. Davidson. Beautifully inside. Matera. Holmes. Matera once more. The Eagles into attack. Great delivery. Bad miss by Gastev. Beautiful hand pass. Matera lines them up. Was it touched? Yes, it was. Just. Scores level at 7 apiece after 6 minutes.
What a pity that Rob Wiley got in the way of Matera then, because Matera was in full flight. He didn't have a chance to steady because he had to get around Robert Wiley.
And here's the man who touched that ball on the line. The veteran Rod Carter sends a good 60-metre one downfield. Zanotti from behind, away from base. Narkle very quick. Beautiful delivery again. He's a magnificent player. Across to Holmes. Holmes now, 55 metres out. Kicked it as long as he can. Looking for Bennett. In front there's Roberts. Ironmonger fumbles just a bit, but cleverly out to Holden. Well played to Roberts. Roberts will get them out of danger with the left foot and looks for Browning. Browning will mark.
At halfback, thinks about playing on and eventually does so. Beautifully to Healy. Superb delivery and a shocking miss. Lanier brought him down. May have been a free but not paid. To half forward. Well delivered to Lewis. Now it's out on the full.
There goes the booing again. Browning now. No, come back and take it from whence you took the free kick was the umpire's verdict. Lewis chasing Browning downfield. Roberts is to take it. Roberts across to Ironmonger, who's of course an ex-West Australian. No. Umpire Robinson stamping his authority on the ground. I'm not sure whether he's doing the rule book the right way, Hayden, but his back it comes and Roberts kicks it long downfield. In comes Henwood. Glendinning was there first and plays very strongly, then lost the run of it. Picked up by Renstead very quick out to Keane. Keane doesn't cover any distance. Browning kicks it left foot out towards the flank. Lamb punches away from Bolton. Opportunity for Brennan. Down towards centre half forward Ironmonger. Didn't look like it. Nicely picked up by Carroll. Carroll wide out towards... back it comes towards Toohey. Toohey a left footer down to centre wing and Lamb's underneath this one with Bolton. Which could have been a free against Bolton. Not allowed. Zanotti fights for it. Right on the boundary line. Caught. Hand passes it to the line, and here they go again.
Very competitive in the early part, and Mitchell comes out of this exchange with the free kick on the wing in front of the scoreboard, which shows 7 apiece after 8.5 minutes. Williams, a little nudge, was spotted. I don't think he agrees. And Renstead takes the free at half-back for the Eagles and kicks into the man. Williams might think there's a big football god after all.
15-metre penalty, I think.
He won't think there's a god. He'll think the scales of justice are loaded against him.
I'm not sure about that one. I think Renstead kicked it into him rather than he...
Roberts can't take it. Healy on the fringe there, diving at it. Eventually it's kicked out very wide by Glendinning. Open territory. Carter comes strongly. Well shepherded Ironmonger. Carter caught by a good tackle from Gastev. Underneath it was Mainwaring. And the free kick.
Long way, very lucky.
Yeah. Big John Ironmonger getting up. Robert Wiley.
Carter did that exceptionally well. Carter leaving his player to come out. That was a certain goal to Eagles if he hadn't come out of the way he did.
Yes, he took a chance and did it very well.
He's got lots of courage, physically and mentally. Keane, not paid. Williams in very hard to tackle. Now Renstead put the Eagles into attack. And they have a major chance to set something up. Davidson, good delivery. Matera, casually, accurately. The Eagles get their second. Giant roar at Subiaco, and they lead by 6 points after 10 minutes of play.
The Sydney Swans seem to be letting them loose down that wing. Second time they've come down loose through Davidson, down that wing. And how Matera got himself on his own there. It's an error on Swan's part to leave a little player like Matera loose in the pocket like that.
Renstead doing a superb job on Williams. Williams, who's known as Diesel and really is the centre of the activity for the Swans, been kept out of it by Renstead to date. Here he comes, sharks it and left foots them into attack downfield, coming out as main wearing. Awkward bounce, but he did it pretty well. Then an excellent tackle against Healy. Glendinning's down, Stephen Wright again, left foot snap for goal, and it's just off direction through to one behind.
1-2 plays 2-1, 3 scoring shots apiece. The Eagles by 5 points after having the first goal kicked against them. Connell long, straight to Murphy. Took it comfortably. Outside the 50-metre line, so I would say too far out to score. Fast developing Swan wingman. Poor kick though. Well taken by O'Connell. A wobbling ball wasn't easy. Anir nicely off to Narkle from half-back. Goes short, but finds Malaxos. Let him down by dropping it. Browning dispossessed. And a ball up just for Swans attacking side of the wing. 13 plays 8. The Eagles by 5 points after 11 and a half minutes.
And number 8, Steve Malaxos, showing tons of endeavour there. Really crawling and sliding after the ball. Ironmonger and Keane up above him. Murphy runs into trouble. Nice play Toohey to Bolton. Bolton 70 metres out and it's the Kappa O'Connell contact. Well done, O'Connell. Healy. Quick one back. O'Connell dives on it, doing very well against Kappa. Played out wide and intercepted by Bolton. On to Williams. Left foot. He doesn't miss many. And he's put it right through. He's a fantastic player, this one, Hayden.
Yeah, I like the way Bolton intercepted that. He read that very well and handball and anticipated. That was very quick thinking on his part, and then to get it over as well as he did as well. Straight on to the left footer, and left footers from that angle don't miss.
Well, he's a right footer, but either with left hand or right hand when he's hand passing, left foot or right foot when he kicks, he is precise. And he split the posts then about 3.5 metres either side, I would say. 14-13, the Swans in front by a point, 12.5 minutes first term. Honours even at the ruck. Renstead, scrambled kick out of the middle. Now Lewis. Very accomplished. Narkle weaving his way between two. To half forward, Malaxos in front. At the back. Oh, huge leap by Bennett. Well played though by the Swans to get out of a jam. Lewis taking on about 4 and paying for it in the end. Holden cleverly and finds safety.
Listen, Holden crashed into Lewis. He would have felt that one. He took it very well. He's very strongly built, as young Chris Lewis. It's Roberts. And out comes Keane again, winning in the ball. There's Williams beautifully out to Bolton. Bolton back to centre half forward. In front main wearing. Hand pass from Healy is beautiful to Morwood. Out to Kappa. Kappa caught to Morwood. Morwood blind turn. Brilliantly done. Left foot snap and steered it just wide. Just missed Tony Morwood. Dazzling turn. Almost deserved the goal, Hayden.
I don't think he realised he had that much room to, still to steady himself and rushed his kick a little. I think they should have probably told him he had a bit more time to steady.
Lane Waring kicks in. Hard! The screamer! What a beauty! The little man over the back, under the helmet. And just as well he had it on because he could have hurt his head as he crashed to ground. A great mark. A nice delivery finds Davidson behind the centre. Carroll in front, misjudged it, perhaps out of form. Now Matera, who's kicked one already. Lines them up again. Low and straight. The Eagles back in front at the 14-minute mark. And Matera has 2.
Well, Wally Matera's found some pace because he didn't have that pace a year or so ago, and he used every bit of it. The way when he gets his handball, he just keeps running. He knows he's clear. He makes sure he straightens up, takes full advantage of the space he had. That was an excellent goal by Matera.
Chris Lewis helped him out first up too. My word, he's clever.
I think he was telling him too to keep going there. That was well done by Chris Lewis.
Back at centre bounce, and Keane's done very well against Ironmonger. Wins another one too. Out to Matera. On it goes to Renstead, whose kick is smothered by Bolton. Falls luckily to Narkle. Narkle out wide looking for Bennett. Bennett's got the chance in between the two of them. Browning in trouble, but did it well. Ran into trouble. Wright's down. Roberts out wide. Look out Holden. Holden out looking for Carroll. Carroll gets a beautiful bounce. Drives it down over the head of the Knotty and Narkle. Narkle running with it. Look out, Narkle showed great courage against Henwood, and Narkle's hurt. Narkle is still down. Henwood there. Tackled by Lewis and caught. Gets it out wide and the umpire lets him go. Carroll picks up and towards the boundary line it goes, and I think quite pleased. Very pleased to see it go over the line.
Yes, Narkle committed himself fully to that one on the ground. He slid and I think he might have run into the side of him, but he's a tough little character. He'll come back.
Keane beat Ironmonger. Ania's hand pass just off direction. Zanotti weaved nicely between two and did well to get boot to ball. Now Carroll, the captain of the Swans, up to half forward. Mitchell in front of Main Waring, did it well, but then couldn't hold the chest mark. Glendinning, O'Connell, a lot of confidence. Dangerously across the ground. Free kick for a push in the back, goes the Swans' way.
Murphy very long, and here's a chance for Morwood. And it's a lovely mark. Lovely mark by Morwood. He's kicked one behind. I guess about a 45-degree angle, but only about, I guess, 10, 15 metres out at the most. There he is, 181 league games. No doubt about that one.
Silence said it all.
Well, there was another case of Swans getting back there very much quicker than what the Eagles got back into their defence. And I noticed Kepler had enough sense to keep out of that one. Comes in, Kepler could have come into it, but he's right behind Morwood there. You can't quite see him, but
Kepler, yes.
He's blocked off. Didn't come into the screen, but he probably has someone else to take it. Well, it's not always his.
Maybe the most dangerous half-forward flank of the game is Tony Morwood, Hayden.
There's no doubt about that goal. He split the centre with it.
17 minutes gone. The Swans back in front. It's a goal-for-goal struggle in the first quarter. Matera to Ania. And the Eagles back into attack. Gastev from behind misjudged it. Malaxos a big chance. Nice hand pass out. Gastev again. Bad delivery, which has let the Eagles down a few times. Neagle at half-back. Sold the dummy beautifully to Narkle. Chip pass. Comes off nicely for Holden. Bad one to half forward though, and the Eagles through Lamb. Back to half forward, rebounding into attack to Malaxos, and they can set something up here.
Malaxos drives downfield. Browning's got Lewis again, and they crash into him. I think it was Browning went into him, and there's a 15-metre penalty, and I think that will be received with huge ovation on this ground. This is one of their pets, but Lewis showed wonderful courage. Here it is, and they crashed to him as he took it. And that brings him up only about 20 metres from goal, 25 metres from goal. There's a 25-metre line, which you'll see as Chris Lewis comes in to shoot for goal. 45-degree angle. He's a kick of great authority normally, but that's not one of his best, and it's one of his worst, actually. It's out of bounds, and he deserved better for that.
It was a great mark coming back against the play there, and he must have known there was defenders coming out at the same time, and they couldn't really avoid running into him in that case.
Browning gets under this a little. Ironmonger in front. He's been soundly beaten by Keane so far. It's 8 taps to 1 at ball ups and throw-ins. Mitchell to the wing. Bounce favouring the Swans. Henwood. Pressure from Glendinning. Kappa. Yes, well held. A lot of pressure, but very strong hands.
The lazy jump, doesn't he? He just knows how to right timing. He doesn't leap too early. He's a well-judged jump.
Man on the markers on the 50-metre line. I don't think Warwick Kappa can kick that far. To full forward. Warwood at the back, got the hands on it. Right, barging through, couldn't go all the way. Glendinning. O'Connell. Good tackle, Kappa. Well played. And the Swan full forward is developing with every game. His marking, his kicking and his tackling and his team play, which Hayden mentioned, all much better this year than last.
Yes, agree entirely. He's really become an excellent team player. Punched down by Bays. Healy. Very good tackle against him. O'Connell doing well against Kappa. Out to Lamb. Fumbles. Long. Look out there, Ania, but you've got time. Ania then kicks it well, but it's over Browning's head. Here's a chance now for Matera once again. And he juggles and juggles. Gets his kick under pressure. And Lucky goes to home. I don't think he meant that one, Hayden, did he?
I don't know whether he did he meant to juggle just to put them off. Off balance a little, as one player.
Can you be that clever?
Well, certainly the left foot. He's not known for his kicking either in the past, but his kicking's improved out of sight, and That was very well done on his left foot to hook it around, but then Don Holmes read that very well too. Holmes could see where he could put the ball, and he just took it on the ground.
Holmes has been a good goal getter in his West Australian days and kicks for goal. Very long, very straight, right in the teeth of goal. The long arms of Bennett went up and couldn't hold it, pushed through for one behind.
So that wind swinging across towards the grandstand side, and that took the ball in a little then, so they'll be allowing for that.
The Swans by 1 point, and the game producing everything that it promised in the early part. Well taken, Toohey. Great for the Swans to have him back. Rugged, tough and skilled half-back flanker. Delivers for Henwood, out in front of Glendinning. Big test for the former South Australian. Big wide turn, which he didn't quite complete, and kicked very poorly. Keen to mark very easily behind the centre line. Wants to play on, and it's called play on. Brennan, well done, cleverly out of trouble. And then good-looking delivery, too far for Wiley. 3 against 1 though in the Eagles' favour. Renstead, Malaxos, Wiley, and now he's got 10 metres, and he's inside 50. Lines up the sticks, drives offline, and scores a level at 21 apiece after 21 minutes. All the 21.
He didn't look in then, Wiley. He had Matera sitting in the centre on his own. Wiley was on a much sharper angle.
Carter straight down the centre. Tony Morwood from the back, and in front he's outmarked. Beautifully outmarked in front there by Gastev. And that's a good performance from one whose book will build as a rover. A very strong mark. Drives out wide looking for Bennett. It's well directed too, and Bennett should hold that. Just didn't hold it long enough. Nice hand pass out there from Mitchell, from Murphy. Mitchell's got it now. Mitchell's kick to Brennan is not good. Brennan's in trouble, but breaks away well, then runs into Mitchell. Gets foot to ball, picked up by Williams. Down towards Henwood it goes, pursued by Glendinning. Henwood strong stuff. Keeps it going downfield. Here comes Bays. Sends it very long, looking for Kappa. Up he goes. And comes down with it and kicks it and dribbles it through.
No, I think it fell out of his hands. I think he'll be coming back for the kick. A tremendous delivery from Mark Bays, whose left boot is just so brilliant and precise and set Kappa up perfectly.
We could kick it, look, it wasn't. It just
carried all the way. And Kappa knew it was going to carry it far. He didn't try and barge in front.
For someone who marks, that was a dream. From behind, it was perfectly kicked to him, and Kappa kicks his first. And he's done pretty well, and his opponent could also feel somewhat pleased with himself because he's got several kicks, but Kappa's a very, very dangerous player.
Goal number 13 for the season to Warwick Kappa, as the first change of the match is made with Wiley coming off and Scott coming on. Big man replacing a small one, and a change of balance, Hayden.
I would say they may give Scott a run on the ball, and Keane may come into the pocket before the end of the quarter. But Scott is, of course, a former club man of Laurie Keane's. They used to share the ruck together with Subiaco, so that should be on.
23 minutes in, 4-3 to 3-3, and Ironmonger this time puts his name on one. Zanotti in the way. Well tackled, but gets it off nicely. And Brennan kicks the Eagles into attack. Malaxos judged it nicely, waiting at the back. Lewis inside. Holmes calling for it inside, but he goes long. Scott from behind, the fresh player, couldn't hold it. Now the Swans out of trouble. Nice floating hand pass from Holden. Morwood. In fact, Roberts gets the kick up to the wing and over the line for a throw-in.
It's nice teamwork. They're starting with Holden. And eventually Roberts over the line out of bounds. Scott almost got that first mark. He's got two hands to it well, Hayden.
I think if he'd been at the ground a little longer, he might have had a chance, and he just got there.
Lovely lead by Keane, perfectly down towards Gastev. He gets a nice bounce, and out to Keane is brilliant, and Keane bad luck. The big tall fellow's got amazing mobility for one so tall, and he's really rucked superbly, but his kick was out of bounds. It'll be taken down there by Roberts. Umpire Peter Cameron directing the flow of traffic. Two theatrical umpires, two very good ones. Down it comes, Ironmonger. Should have held that one. Nice hand pass out from Henwood. Back it comes to Mitchell. Mitchell down where Healy's got the runner, but an awkward one. Still picks it up and looks for a hand pass out to Henwood. Henwood 65 metres out. It's a Kappa O'Connell battle once again. Kappa from behind takes it. Very, very well judged, Warwick Kappa, and this will be worrying John Alexander, Hayden.
It would. O'Connell hasn't got the physical strength to compete with, I don't think, and on those last two occasions he's been caught under the ball and having to wait for it to come down, waiting for it to come down in an ideal position for seemed to be for Kappa to push him, or just use his check on.
Kappa gets a goal. Who would you
No,
change? He's missed it. Who would you change on to?
Well, you'd have to get someone that's got a bit more weight, and I think it might have to be Glendinning if he's becomes too much of a headache. They could use Scott, but I'd say Glendinning if he's got anyone out there.
O'Connell kicks high. Keane and Ironmonger, who went for the spoil from behind, and the ball came to the back of the pack, where it's worked on by Mainwaring. Browning bearing down, like a train. Had the chance to really go through him, but didn't. Lamb, Narkle, and here go the Eagles. Great tackle, Neagle on Narkle. Prizes the ball free of the Eagles and forces a throw in on their half-forward flank.
My word, did he make some pace then, Merv Neagle. He's a magnificent player, a much underrated player, Neagle. Second in the round in the middle some years back, but a very good player for the Bombers when he was there. One of their stars. Here he comes again, in trouble, on the boundary line, gets left foot, well smothered Malaxos. It's courageous play, Roberts. Umpire Robinson comes in and indicates he'll bounce it between centre wing and half-forward flank with the Eagles in attack. There's Ian Robertson, there's Gasted, number 30. Right now for the big fellows, it's Keane, who's very tall, well over 200 centimetres. Ironmonger, a man mountain from West Australia originally. Left foots it and did it very well. Underneath it, Morwood, but it's taken by Lamb. Lamb, I thought, with Renstead picks it up. Renstead kicks out, looking there for Bennett and for Scott, and Scott takes a well-judged mark. What a good lead.
Yes, he covered over the back then of Bennett, which is the way to go. Too far for Bennett, then he's there to take it. And it might have been a bit confusing to his opponent, but Scott should kick this. It's only about 45, a little less than 45, at 40 metres.
I think Hayden Bunt's got a soft spot for Phil Scott, one of his players, and if he likes him a bit, he's down. What a great kick. He's not let you down. What a magnificent kick.
You've got to realise too, Doug, that he's playing this game after, quite a few weeks out of the game. He was almost ready to play for us last week at Subiaco, but he had a hamstring that was still a bit concerning him. He came back after 3 weeks with a hamstring, and it went again on him. So he took the 4th week off this time, and it was a sensible decision.
We kicked that from right on the 50-metre line, so it was a very good kick, and obviously no wind assistance at either end. Sydney in front by a point. 27 minutes into a great first quarter. Williams out of the centre. Bays, Bolton. Great pressure from the Eagles, but back to Bays with that long left boot. Kappa front position. This time O'Connell out-jostled him, but couldn't hold the mark. Mitchell, right, lines them up and slams it through for his second. And the Swans fifth. And they lead by 7 points, and they've been pretty quick to reply each time the Eagles have goaled and have looked good in this first quarter and have had the better of it slightly on the scoreboard.
Yes, Tim, that's the second time Wright's capitalised on somebody picking the ball up. He's an opportunist and a very, very sharp player on the move in that forward line.
Kappa did his job well again in a way, didn't he? Was not in position yet. He fought and stopped O'Connell marking it. So, and then nice hand pass from Mitchell across to Stevie Wright. Well, here's the first change, a ruck. Ironmonger and Scott contest that one. Neagle tackles Narkle. Chance out wide. Well kicked there by Williams. It doesn't do much for his side. Johnny Annear with it. Got more time than he knew, but then he fumbled it. Then he foodled with it. In front, Robertson, very well in front. Out towards Williams, who kicks off the ground. Williams, that's a typical hand pass to Healy. That's the one who takes most of his. Healy then kicks it long downfield. Up underneath it, O'Connell, and makes very sure of that one. Fine mark under pressure. Look out, he's tackled, but he got away from Kappa.
Only just took some doing and delivers to Davidson, who spills a sitter at half-back. Mainwaring now. Just got the kick in time. Neagle in the way. And perhaps the Swans just applying a bit more pressure than the Eagles have copped previously. Neagle to half-forward. Morwood in front. Williams. Now Kappa, great little paddle on. Morwood and Mitchell from 50 metres, just misses. The Swans 5th behind and they lead by 8 points at the 29-minute mark.
Once again, Kappa using that player coming through, and he certainly is a team player, tapping that one over.
Did it beautifully, didn't he, that time? It was well done. Looks like Glendinning kicking this one out. Browning in front, can't hold it. Renstead, who's done well against Williams. All well played, Mitchell. Browning the left footer, drives for goal. The mark almost taken. Fighting for it is Mitchell. Well done, Brennan. Thwarted the efforts and it'll be bounced.
You can't blame young Mitchell for that one, Doug. It was a very awkward kick coming from Browning.
Close to the Swans' goal. Looking for their sixth in the shadows of quarter time. There's a ruck infringement, and Scott takes the free kick in the last line of defence for the Eagles. Across the face, making the old-timers squirm, goes for Narkle, but there's the siren. And at the first change, it's the Sydney Swans by 8 points, but certainly the match and the crowd at Subiaco right up to expectation. At 5, the Eagles 27, and Scott beautifully to Matera. The Eagles into attack. Too far for Bennett, and in fact a free kick against him for some interference, and Tui will take it between fullback and halfback for the Swans, but a very dangerous looking move. Scott starting it with a beautiful palm to Matera. Brennan up high, so was Scott, and this time it's the Eagles free kick. So free kick to free kick at the moment, and Brennan takes it forward to the wing.
Brennan kicks out looking for Bennett once again. He's got a prop for this one. He made a gallant effort at it. There it is. Underneath all of that, but a very good effort of Bennett that time, because he didn't have the sit and the run and the jump, and he had to prop underneath it. Almost took a good one. Umpire Peter Cameron. Ruckman John Ironmonger over the back from Keane, who's rucked very well. Hand passes wide. Narkle is tackled high, breaks away, still gets it out. Well played to Malaxos. Malaxos out wide, and Anir left foots it for goal, and Anir's done it very, very well. Oh, an acute angle, and that's a fine goal.
Well, that was Malaxos' goal. He could share that one because Anir did the perfect kick on his left foot, but Malaxos is on his left foot, decided that he was too crowded and got the ball over to him, to Anir, and so they would have shared that one. Anir was a doubtful starter to this game. He had a pretty badly corked thigh, and up until Thursday or Friday, maybe, he was on the doubtful list.
Just about squared the match. 100 seconds into the second quarter, 35-33, and Scott doing well at those centre bounces. He's very methodical. Brennan, though, wins it back for the Eagles. Brilliantly taken by Gastev. Wide out on the half-forward flank, goes for Bennett. Hits him beautifully on the chest.
Well, they know he can kick from long distances out, so there's no concern with them when they put the ball out that far in front, and that gave, I don't know, Bennett's opponent no chance. Who's on Bennett at the moment?
He's Tui. It's quite interesting.
Yeah,
quite interesting.
Carter might have been still there.
Kicking from 50 metres, has a kick like a mule, and it's straight through the middle. And the Eagles, with 2 in just over 2 minutes, hit the front. 39-35 by 4 points.
Hayden, the interesting part was he's moved Carroll, Tom Hafey has, back on to young Chris Lewis, and that's unsettled the whole back line.
It has, because there's no way in the way Tui was going to match the strength of Bennett. As I said, Bennett just kicked a 60 metres, so I'll put the ball well out in front to Bennett.
Bennett's about 6'5", and Tui, a half-back flanker's got to pick him up. But very interesting that Tom Hafey, worried about Chris Lewis, has got his star centre half-back and captain Carroll on him. And up come the rucks again, and there's Scott in again. Renstead over the back. Carroll takes it. Out wide it goes, and underneath it, the chance for Glendinning, and Glendinning doesn't make many mistakes.
I think as David Parkin would put it, Doug, he's got 2 talls up on the front line of attack. He's got a forward pocket. When he brought Scott on and took Wiley off, he changed the balance of that forward line, and that might have thrown the Swans. Now at ground level, big chance for the Eagles. Matera, Davidson, high kick, awkward for the forwards, wouldn't like to be under it. Bennett, oh, what a great mark! Had 3 to beat and did it brilliantly. And a chance to kick his second in a minute and a half. Tremendous mark. 3 of them up against him. Stretching the hands out to the side as the ball seemed to float away from him slightly, and that was a screamer.
They're all up against him, Tim, but they're all behind him. Tolstoy, you can't get there to the ball if he's blocking from getting it.
And the Swans have made a change with the taller Coleman coming on, and he's going to go into defence, I think, to replace Holden. Kick's good. Just made it. Bennett second. The Eagles get their 7th, and they've kicked away to a 10-point lead after trailing by 8 at quarter time. They've kicked 3 in 4 minutes.
Yes, you're right. Here's all the changes. Tui's been moved out, and Coleman's been picking up the big fella, going to pick up the big fella Bennett.
Still going to cause them concern because they've got Scott doing it particularly well in the centre there, and that piece of field play there with a handball back, and they've got Keane down there and Bennett. It's going to cause them headaches.
If Bennett gets going, Hayden, he's a hot and cold player. He's pretty hot when he goes, isn't he?
Once he starts to hold them like that, he is.
It was an excellent
And
mark.
he's such a long kick. That's one of the biggest benefits of him.
Bit of a rumble down in the Eagles' attacking zone. Rod Carter is doing his best to unsettle that very successful forward structure at the moment.
You see, there's a real niggler as Rodney Carter. Up go the rucks, and Ironmonger combated that one, but it's out of the centre from Mania. Malaxos goes to the ground, looked like a push. Fights on. Might have been Lewis's chance there. Stevie Wright fights with him. And Chris Lewis, it's not often that you see a 17-year-older completely confounding the pattern of the game. And something happened there that caught the crowd's attention. Oh, it's back with Rodney Carter, I guess.
He's treading on a few toes at the moment, both literally and metaphorically. He's playing very close.
Certainly literally. Wayne Henwood, big strong man too. Williams out wide with the slick one to Healy. Healy back it goes looking for Murphy. Murphy then kicks it long looking for Bays. It's over the line out of bounds on the fall, and the free kick of course will go to Zanotti. Zanotti's on half-back flank and the match has really warmed up. Short one looking for Scott. In comes Morwood late on the scene, but Scott's got a big frame and took it well.
The umpire might have thought about 15. I would have thought. Bad kick from Scott. Lewis taken off him by Murphy. Browning. Mitchell under pressure. Bad hand pass, but he rode it beautifully. His hand pass is just as bad as the one he took. Zanotti used the body beautifully. Got Healy out of the way. Davidson to Anea. Steadies with the left. Lewis. Always clever. Oh, great smother by Carroll, his opponent. Forces a throw in on the Swans half-forward flank, and that was some leadership by example from Dennis Carroll.
That was excellent. I think the more that you do to the Eagles, it's going to upset them if they can continually attack the front of them.
In comes Henwood. Healy kicks it off the ground. Picked up by Brennan, who's been very sound. Brennan downfield. Up goes Henwood. Frustrated nicely by the big frame of Scott. Cleverly to Healy. Look out, Healy. That's nice. Out to Mitchell. Mitchell, you've got to pick it up quickly. Back to Henwood. Great smother, Glendinning. I thought Healy might have been put. Glendinning, brilliant. Takes it with him. Great football. And it's desperate stuff from Henwood. Takes it away from him. Renstead in lots of trouble. Carroll's over the top too. And it is magnificent football.
Smother after smother. That's the sort of football you like to see.
A lot of tries there.
What a game it is. 45 plays 35. The Eagles in front by 10 points. 7 minutes into the second term. Scott is rucking superbly. And they win it away through Renstead. Malaxos, brilliant use of the body and almost a one-hander. Gastev, out-jostled by Carroll. Now Narkle goes the long way. Lewis from behind. And Malaxos. Bennett dropping back into the goal square. Oh, another big leap. And eventually a push in the back. In fact, no throw in because the umpire ruled that Bennett's jump into Carter's back was illegal, and so it was, and Neagle takes the mark now.
Well done, Carter. Out it was to Coleman. Coleman's got time to go charging a bit. He's a very big fella, Coleman, 6'5" of him. Downfield it goes. Bays is the target. Zanotti spoils him brilliantly. Anea in the centre. Got time. Short pass is a gem to Lewis. Like a rifle. Lewis ditto out wide looking for Gastev. Gastev as he needs a good bounce. Long one back to Davidson. Davidson will have to hurry. Hooks it across, and Narkle and Holmes has a look and still had time to mark it. Back it comes, and it's hooked by Matera. It's a goal. It's a great goal. That's his third. Smallest man on the ground.
I think that mark, as we thought it was, must have been ruled touch ball and play on. Came loose to Matera, who did the rest.
I think Holmes actually pushed that down to Matera. He must have heard the play-on call because he didn't even argue about it, and Matera did. It was a very good hook by Matera. He had to hook it. There was no way he could have straightened up. He wouldn't have had the time, and I think it found the Swan asleep down on that goal line.
Matera, 7 kicks, 7 hand passes, and 3 goals. Tremendous performance, and having a look at the replay, Lewis also valuable in that as he saw Holmes's plight, snatched the ball off him, and then it came free to Matera.
Well, they've got Lewis at centre-half forward now, so the Eagles are putting him in the right in the centre of their attacking moves.
They've kicked 4 goals in this term in 9 minutes. The Swans haven't scored, haven't looked like it. Ironmonger wins at the bounce. Davidson, Brennan, out wide. Matera bearing down strongly to him. Matera beat him. Malaxos, back to Matera. Nice floater. Renstead now, between wing and half forward. Lewis from the side. Ground level, Gastev, Coleman. Forced into an awkward kick, a dangerous kick. No mark. Narkle, well tackled, penalised, holding the ball. Bolton's free kick. Narkle's helmet's been wrestled off in that exchange, and there's plenty of fire in this match at Subiaco.
Super spoiled by Merv Nagel too. A courageous one in front over the back of tail. Glendinning, like the Rock of Gibraltar at centre half back, is the handsome captain. Out wide to Holmes. Perfect kick. Holmes takes the mark. He can keep on with it now. Out to Ania. Ania 55 metres. Left from goal. Downfield it goes. Bennett! An enormous leap again brought the crowd to their feet, but he wasn't in focus.
Boy, reminiscent of Phil Baker. Remember that grand final a few years ago when he took all those screamers in the second quarter for North Melbourne?
He almost took that one too in retrospect.
No word he did. Climbing high too at the throw-in, but not accurate. Straight to Neagle, who goes long, getting the Swans out of trouble. But the Eagles are in charge in the air. Keane, Williams, back to the wing. Henwood, Glendinning's held him well though at centre half back. Swans win it forward. Healy, Kappa. Oh, great mark, Mainwaring. From behind, it was a free kick anyway to O'Connell, who takes the centre half back, gets himself into trouble, but Mainwaring gets out of it.
Neagle's in front position. Or was it Morwood? It was Morwood, and here's Malaxos again, but the umpire's whistle is blown, and the free kick is going to go to the Swans.
He's complaining the crowd, but I think that was right. Dwayne Lamb did shovel that out more than handball it out.
Here comes Merv Neagle, got the run on Lamb, who's on the mark. Goes downfield and bounces it down towards O'Connell's in front, gets an unlucky bounce. Kappa straight to O'Connell. O'Connell out to Zanotti. Zanotti, look out, you'll be met, but he gets past Murphy brilliantly. Loves to run, does the dark fellow. Off he goes, another one. 40 metres then, like a rocket out to Holmes. Holmes is setting, and a perfect pass, and intercepted nicely by Toohey. Toohey now onto his left foot, and the chance is there for Davidson. He falls. Here comes Carroll, kicks off the ground. Carroll will follow on, but there's little Murphy got the chance. Morwood and Murphy misunderstand a little. Murphy picks up. Murphy kicks it out wide, looking for Kappa. Kappa and O'Connell. Kappa wins. Very good lead. And he does judge his marks very well, as Hayden Bunton mentioned earlier. Now, Warwick Kappa, who's kicked one, and 16 points behind of the Sydney Swans at the 12-minute mark in the second term. And Kappa, when he comes in to kick, will probably be about 45 metres from goal.
Unlucky he didn't get the 15 metres there. He got ridden into the ground.
Here comes White Boots, kicks for goal. It's an ugly, awkward, terrible-looking kick, and Keane went high. Didn't hold it. Chance for Bays on his wrong foot, now onto his left foot. Hooks it back and hooks across the face of goal. It's through!
That's a fluke.
Unbelievable goal.
Unbelievable, almost a fluke, as Hayden said. It wandered, but didn't he line it up with authority?
He did, but it floated. It didn't even twist and turn. I think the wind did the work for him a little too. But yeah, you have a go for them, you get them. I guess you deserve the credit for them.
Well, here it is again. As Doug said, had to go onto the right boot, prefers the left and uses it brilliantly at all times. And somehow that wobbled through.
That's on radar, that one.
Well, the Swans certainly needed it. It was the right time for it. It brings them back to within 10 points at the 13-minute mark. Keane wins. Williams well tackled by Renstead. Gastev to Keane. To space at half forward. Out comes Carter. Gets a good bounce, but loses the ball. Support from Coleman. It's a big, robust Swan defence, but it could be a bit immobile at ground level. Now Gastev, steady on the left. Nice delivery. Wiley back on the ground from the 50-metre line. Centres. Malaxos from behind, though. Ironmonger. Loose hand pass. Bolton, though, in support, who's been very quiet. Browning from behind the centre. Mainwaring in front. Dropped the head a little. Ania from half back. 2 against 1 in the Eagles' favour, but Murphy beats them both.
He did, and did it brilliantly. Chose not to hand pass and kicks for Kappa again and kicked it beautifully. And Kappa very wide. Look out, you'll be caught, Warwick. Gets it out wide to Bays. Taken away by Glendinning. A real rock there. And he gets it nicely out to Lamb. Lamb then hooks it back over Narkle's head. Carroll's got the run of it. He looks for a teammate, doesn't need to, then sends it out to a half-forward flank where there's no Swans at home at all. And Johnny Annear's got lots and lots of time. The lead is given to him beautifully by Davidson. Davidson would be wise to steady and take his time. Out to Holmes.
Nicely inside to Renstead, who was Holmes' shoulder. Now Gastev under pressure. Strong tackle, but a high one from Ironmonger. And the free kick goes to the Eagle, who is spread-eagled on the ground. It's John Gastev of Yugoslavian extraction. Was over that way over the summer in Europe and might have wished he was still there as he got that tackle from Ironmonger, which could have left him wondering where he was. But now he knows he's 50 metres out and almost directly in front.
Be like running into a piece of iron there, I think, the way Ironmonger came in.
He's having a shot. It's high, it's not that long and won't make it. Bennett the leap again. An exciting performance from him in this first half. He's kicked 2 goals both in this quarter.
Yep, here it goes.
An Eagles free kick. And the rounds of the kitchen being dished out by umpire Robinson to the Swans defence, which infringed, and Malaxos takes the free. 10 metres out, virtually straight in front. Should not miss this, but has. What a shocking kick. Lucky to score her behind. It was such a bad kick it caused a conference between the boundary and goal umpires.
He's had to do that sometimes, Malaxos. He tried to steer them through instead of kicking the ball, putting the kick through it full strength.
Lewis on the interchange at the moment.
Ironmonger taken off. Holden comes on. In comes Bayes. He never looked like it, taken by the strong Malaxos. Malaxos kicks it out wide. Not good. Not good. Chipping in front nicely was Murphy. Murphy centres it now. Looking for Tony Morwood. Brennan's done well against him. Taken by Keane. Clever play. Out wide it goes and it's hooked by Davidson beautifully out to the flank, and Lamb's got the opportunity. Lamb is well within range, only about 40 metres from goal, and after that shocking miss by Malaxos.
Lamb's normally doesn't play in the forward line too often. This is just in his range, I'll tell you that now. He's played it well and truly.
Yep. Will make you think, Coach. He's a good kick, he tells you.
Yeah, he's correct. His direction's all right, really, but his distance is a bit of a problem sometimes. But that was, well, that would have been a good 40-metre kick, and he only kicks his 3 or 4 a year, but that's his first for this year anyway. Well, it's not really. I think he kicked one in the first round. Was it in the Essendon game? He kicked one in the Essendon game.
A little bit of luck about that. Just a blaze away by Davidson, but falling into Lamb's lap.
I think it was by direction, though, Tim. I think I saw him look over his left shoulder, and he hooked it over to him.
17 points the margin. The Eagles in front, having a great second term. Bad fumble by Annear cost him the chance to go forward again, but at least I thought he was going to force a ball up, but in fact he's been penalised for holding it. And not a bad decision either, as he dived on that with intent only upon forcing the bounce. Mitchell to half forward. Glendinning from behind has been supreme, hasn't made a mistake. And a ball up on the Swans half forward line, and they really have looked very ordinary in attack in this second term. Not that they've been up there that often, but on the few occasions, not much purpose about them.
Cap has been the only point. Glendinnings's thrashed Henwood, picked up by Davidson. Davidson downfield. Oh, nice football. Matera having a wonderful match. He sends it out looking for Lewis. Diving at it was Tui. Tui crawls after it, can't find anyone to give it to. He might be penalised. He better be careful. The umpire's tending to penalise the man who falls on top of the ball and say and the umpire's interpretation, you are in possession. This time he got out of it. It'll be a bounce. Umpire Ian Robinson.
And the Eagles contemplating a change with on the sidelines Pios preparing to come on. Brennan under pressure, lots of pressure. Glendinning always there in support. Oh, very willing in there, and a few stops being exchanged too. Note they're wearing those rubber-soled shoes with multi-stops in them on the hard ground.
Well, also when those are exchanged, I think the rubber's a bit easier on the bodies than the
I think there's one shoe lost then too, I thought, but in old good leap Henwood, but didn't do it very intelligently because it's gone straight to Narkle. Narkle's on Neagle. Narkle dodges very easily. Sent it long downfield. We're underneath it. Roberts and Matera. Matera, huge leap, but he was into Roberts' back. And I don't know about that, do you?
Well, you have to, yeah, it's a little bit into his back, but had he have held it, it would have been fine. It would have been, the mark would have been paid. You've got to hold him when you go into the back like that.
Yeah, I thought his eyes were on the ball, a bit unlucky to be penalised. Punched by Glendinning. Healy then thumps it out wide. Williams too slow. Zanotti very quick. Comes downfield, bounced out. Nice play there by Scott. Scott doesn't cover any distance. Coming through strongly, Roberts. Good football. Out to Coleman. He kicked very hurriedly. Lucky bounce to Bolton. Give it to Morwood. Morwood's got the chance now. The good bounce, and he misses it, but he still can pick it up. He's not far out. He dodges beautifully. Steadies. 35 metres out. Shoots for goal and misses.
Oh, he might kick himself for that, and a few teammates might as well. Not only did he muff it, he also squandered the chance of a pass to a better placed teammate.
1-2 from the boot of Tony Morwood.
And the Swans looking a little rattled as they trail by 16 points. Kick beats the pack. Coleman. Couple inside. Bays, the left footer. Time to steady. Williams, the target. Couldn't hold on. Now Mitchell. Now Wright. Holding the ball. Strong tackle from behind by Mainwaring. Once upon a time it would have been a push in the back, but the umpire's far more sympathetic to the tackler these days, and Mainwaring takes the free.
On the half-back flank, long downfield. In front is Scott. A big punch picked up nicely by Carroll. Carroll will give it to Williams. He'll be picked up by Mainwaring. Williams across to Browning. He'll be picked up by Zanotti. There is Bays to help. Bays across to Mitchell is dangerous. Mitchell very quick to Morwood. Morwood 15 metres out. Doesn't miss this one. That looked more like the Swans. They had 189 hand passes last week, Hayden, and that's when they look good, when they move it quick.
Well, they haven't been doing a lot of that. They were, in that passage, there were 4 hand passes, and each player was drawn. Zanotti was the first, and then it continued down the line. That sort of thing will upset any back line. Morwood didn't miss that one. He couldn't with the space he had there to steady himself.
And having a word of G'ing up to himself after that, Davidson off for the Eagles, replaced by Pios. And 22 minutes almost into the second term. The Eagles by 10 points against the Swans in a tremendous match at Subiaco Oval. You're watching it on ABC TV Sport. Morwood, the goal kicker, diving after it. Scott to half forward. Spoiling from the Swan defence. Matera, Renstead. Oh, Neagle strongly ran at him, but Renstead recovers. Back to Matera. Now Narkle. A lot of pressure. Healy. And the Swans starting to go at it in numbers. Neagle, Williams, now out wide to Holden, with Neagle there to assist and tell him he's got time to steady. Kappa, pushed, no free kick. Aggressive stuff from the Eagles' defence, and they get out of trouble, but not for long. Shocking delivery, straight to Neagle. Kappa from behind, and he has another chance just 30 metres out, but the angle tight.
Yeah, David Connolly came out and picked the ball up and steered it straight to a Swans player, but then took so long to get back onto Kappa, he didn't have time to get back on there. Kappa would have been really happy about that little leniency.
Has one, and this is a testing shot from the angle. Swans can do with it, but they haven't got a supporter in the crowd.
It's good.
They're cheering. It's a behind, that's why. And the margin is 9 points in the Eagles' favour. 9-4 plays 7-7. The Swans have had one more shot, but they're behind on the aggregates.
Brennan out wide. Oh, look out, little fella Mitchell, you're in trouble. Murphy did it very well as Scott came at him, but he did it beautifully, did Murphy. Murphy then long. O'Connell in front. Kappa late on the scene. O'Connell, good mark. Very strong mark. That's his 5th mark for the match, and he's done well, despite the acrobatic Kappa taking some good ones.
I remember too, Michael Connell hasn't played a lot at full-back, so he's done particularly well.
Bolton in front. Oh, big leap from behind. Chance for Healy to crawl after it. Aeneas had 7 kicks this quarter. Back it comes to Lamb. Lamb cleverly to Scott. Scott on the half-back line. Out wide. Little Gastev. Oh, what a beauty. An absolute screamer over the top.
Crowd loving it. They're loving the state of the match. What a great mark. He kicks quickly. beyond half forward. Bennett from behind. Williams looking for the free. Matera at the bottom of it. And umpire Robinson coming in and having to work overtime once again. It's very willing at that end of the ground, with Rod Carter leading the Swans pack. And we're going to see a ball up.
I was going to say, Tim, I think Williams might have slipped a quiet one in there to Matera. Rod Carter, the old-fashioned fullback, not loaded with a huge amount of ability, but my word, he plays close, aggressive and niggles all day. Well played, Keane. Down it went. Whistle blows and the umpire's pulled a free out. Out wide it comes. Carroll decides to go for a run, and he's got plenty of time to do it too. Sends it very long looking for Kappa. Can he make the distance? He does. Whoa, what a soaring leap, and Lamb showed tremendous courage to take him on. Kappa's off now. He's a long way out from goal. Looks for a hand pass, which is not his forte, but does it pretty well. Bays with a right footer, kicks it very long. A sensational kick. Well, he blazed away with his right foot and threw it, but now he's kicked two beauties.
Well, he's got leaf full. I'd say he's more a right footer than a left footer, but that one, once again, it didn't look go through the air, revolve through the air, but it certainly found the direction.
Kicked 5 last week.
Well, he's certainly on radar. He's got something planted behind the goal.
Well, there's no doubt he is a left footer, but that was delivered beautifully with the right. And he's just one of those naturally fluent kicks of the ball with either side of his body. So, 58 plays 55, and the Swans back to within 3 points after this second quarter looked very bad for them early. Williams to right, and away they go again. Just beats the Pios tackle and hits Morwood. 45 metres out. And sloppy pass, but the ball's coming back. A 15-metre penalty dished out by umpire Robinson, and that means Morwood will kick from just 30 metres out directly in front, and should put the Swans in front with his second of the quarter. He's kicked 2 in the match, and he certainly shouldn't miss this one. Good off the boot. No, offline. Wasted opportunity. He's kicked 1-2 in this term, and the 2 misses have both been from very easy shots. The Eagles by 2 points.
Yes, he's kicked 2-3 for the match. Keane's the target. Keane takes the misses it badly. Well smothered by Murphy. He's a gallant little goer. He wants to give a hand pass to Mitchell. Mitchell to Murphy was very slick. Murphy steadies and kicks for goal, and it's a sensational kick. Well, they've kicked them from everywhere this quarter of the Swans. Unbelievable goals.
That was a lot of understanding there between Mitchell and Murphy. They must be almost like twins, the way they move and the way they understood each other's movements there. But that was another brilliant goal. It was a tight angle too. It's certainly Swans are getting these goals from everywhere, as you say, Doug.
Kappa was in great marking position then. I wasn't sure, and I don't know whether Murphy was initially, whether to go for goal or try and set Kappa up. He did the former with his 6th kick for the quarter, and he's kicked his first goal and restored the lead for the Swans after they trailed by a couple of goals a few minutes ago. But here go the Eagles through Matera, but there's a free kick to Sydney for a push to be taken by Mitchell from just behind the centre, 15 metres as well, and suddenly it's the Swans who are running and getting to the ball in numbers. To half forward, Henwood virtually kickless, and there's the reason why. Glendinning, now Wiley in good position, might get a free kick for that. The press box are screaming for it, so are 40,000 outside, and Wiley gets the free just forward of the wing.
Yes, the press box screaming out, what about that? Quite completely unbiased press box here. Up they go and easily taken in front by Roberts. Roberts on to Carroll. Downfield looking for Tony Morwood. Brennan's with him. Brennan above him that time. Wiley punches beautifully to Keane. Keane gives it across towards Anir. Anir is tackled too high. Cameron lets it go. It's picked up by Healing. Here's a great opportunity for Henwood. He should give it across to right, but he kicks for goal and misses.
Oh, bad play.
No one near right.
Would be furious with that. It was really bad, selfish football.
Well, so would Tom Hasty. The only thing in his favour that he might have been able to... Henwood may not have seen him over there.
Yeah, very charitable coach.
Glendinning in good position for O'Connell's pass from the back pocket. Goes for Keane. Coleman with him and in good position. Glenn Coleman coming on early in this quarter to balance an unbalanced Sydney defence. Now Neagle, fairly quiet. Kappa comes from behind. O'Connell in good position that time for the spoil. Mainwaring, but it's all the Swans. Neagle first there. Bad bounce for him. Lewis, 2 pursuing. Nice delivery. Gave Scott the chance, but the bounce just eluded him. And a throw in on the Eagles' half-forward flank. 29.5 minutes into the quarter. West Coast trailing by 4 points, but a real contest between two top-notch sides.
There's Rob Wiley in picture, the ex-Richmond star from West Australia. Lewis comes in, punched away. Chance for Williams. Renstead's been with him and done it well, but Williams out to Browning. Browning is well tackled. Browning hits it on further. Kick is badly smothered from Henwood, or beautifully smothered by Glendinning, and gains possession. Long left footer. Coleman in front. Over the back it goes. Hand pass comes out to Wiley. Wiley kicks under extreme pressure very quickly, and through comes Carter, barging through and loving it. Here's a chance for Holmes. Should take a free kick. And Lewis comes in and seemed to butt Bolton in the stomach that time. Bolton can take it, Chris Lewis. But it's a free kick to Holmes, who I think, Hayden, is one of the straight shooters and one of the...
Yes, one of the most elusive players in the WA football.
There's Holmes, who's played well over 100 games. He tries it short.
And why not?
Easily done. Easily done. Nobody there to look after it. Paul Pios takes the mark. And there goes the siren. And as the siren goes, there's 4 points the difference with the Sydney Swans in front. So let's see if Pios, who's normally a defender, can kick it straight. He's about 40 metres out when he kicks for goal.
Well, this will put the Eagles in front if he does goal.
No. Defender's kick, I think, Hayden.
Started off on line and the roar went up, but then it just started drifting away. So a behind, making the margin at half-time 3 by 5 seconds, and a free kick to the Eagles. John Anea to Matera. Welcome back to this match between the West Coast Eagles and the Sydney Swans, with the Swans in front by 3 points as they were at half-time. And the kick, the first kick of the quarter, effectively out of the centre, but Glendinning in the way. Storwood in the first half. He had 8 kicks, 3 marks and 3 handballs, and there's his 9th kick. But straight to Coleman, just forward of the wing, and he'll put the Swans into attack. It's 9-8 to 9-5, the Swans by 3 points. Glendinning there again, Bays from the side, kicked 2 great goals in the second quarter. Now Henwood, virtually kickless against Glendinning. Healy's hand pass was under pressure and ineffective. So was his knock-on. That might be a push in the back, a rough, crude, untidy tackle from Mainwaring, and Mitchell gets the free kick just 40 metres out and on a slight angle.
Yeah, that was a bad tackle. When you've got someone on toast like that, you don't barge in. Obviously, they're going to fall forward, and that's just what happened. It's too close to goal to be giving them away like that.
Man on the mark is 30 metres out. Mitchell kicks from 35. It looks good. It is good. The silence tells us it's good. It's the Swans' 10th goal, and they lead by 9 points after 90 seconds of play in the second half.
Mitchell Hayden has been spending about 30 to 40 minutes, I believe, after training to try and fulfil Tom Hafey's instructions, kick a few more goals, and that was a good-looking goal by the little fella. Here it is now.
Well, he gave himself a lot of room off the mark, which is the keynote of the kicking for goal. A lot of players crowd themselves by getting too close to the opponent on the mark. He gave himself plenty of room on that occasion.
That was his 5th free kick, incidentally, which is a nice day for him. Well played. Keane over the side. Here comes Holden with a straight run at it. Left puts them into attack downfield. Then Dinning in awkward position. Could have been played a free kick that time. Picked up by Bolton. Bolton then hooks it high in the air. More height than anything else. Capper and O'Connell again. Capper a big leap, but too early. Nice football, Glendinning. Out to Anea. Anea will give it long in the direction of Lamb. Lamb does the Zanotti. Zanotti will be run down unless he's careful. Back to Lamb is clever. Lamb left puts it now downfield looking for Chris Lewis, and Lewis never lets them down. That was a freak mark. He is really the makings of a genius magic footballer, this one. And round the man the mark he goes, round another one, and Lewis will shoot for goal from about 45 metres out, and that was perfect. Absolutely perfect. Well, you don't see much better, Hayden, do you?
No, you made it look so easy. I don't know that the one-armed hand of mark had to be taken like that. I think he probably could have got the second one up a little earlier, and he just went around those two defenders. Well, he just off-stepped them, and and steady himself, and Scott did a lot to help that ball through. It may have been reached, but no, you're right, Doug. He's a young footballer with a lot of brilliance.
So a goal each in the first 3 minutes of the second half, and we really have a match on our hands. Coleman wins to right, brushed aside. Narkle brought down, pushed in the back, says umpire Peter Cameron. And Magic Narkle takes the free kick virtually in the centre circle. Free hand pass to Renstead, to full forward. Bennett front position, ran under the ball. Gastev overran it. Carroll, ball high in the air, dangerous kick. Well taken though, very well taken by Healy on the half-back flank for the Swans.
Yes, Healy's an amazing player. Well, he looks as if he's been fairly quiet, but this is his 16th possession. He's an extraordinary man the way he gets so much of the ball. Bays back to Healy. Healy time to kick once again. Looks for his little pal Williams. Over Williams' head, and it's nicely taken by Mitchell again. Williams got the call from Mitchell, and look out, Mitch, you're caught. Out to Stephen Wright. Slick back to Bolton. Mainwaring, good tackle. Wright under pressure. Tries to find Healy. They've lost it through fooling around, but he's pushed over. And umpire Peter Cameron having a chat to Henwood. Henwood, who started off very vigorously, is not popular. There's Ron Alexander, pensive. And out of it all, we're going to see a free kick. It's going to go the Swans' way. And the man on the end of it all was Williams, who is tough as they come.
Lucky to get out of that Sydney Swans. They did play around with the ball too much. They tried to scoop it up over to each other, and I don't know what the free kick was for, but it would appear that he was tripped.
Yes, I agree, Hayden. There's a lot of fooling. That hand passing wasn't good. Huge noise. I don't think Williams, he might make it from 50. He's not going to try to make it. Beautifully directed to Kappa. And he gabbed it. The umpire got in his road, actually. Well, I was telling Hayden Bunton about Williams earlier that really he utilises every opportunity he's got, particularly with his hand passing, which is easily the best in football, but with his foot too, he's a beautiful kick, and that one was well delivered to Kappa. Kappa now kicks for goal, and Kappa pushes it out a bit wide, but he made it. That's his second, and that's a pretty handy little lead at the moment for the Sydney Swans.
He'd be happy with that one, Kappa. He moved out very well for it. It was put out perfectly for him, and although it wasn't an easy mark to take, it was very low to the ground. He had to slide to the ground to take it. But I think he had 1-6 up to that stage. I think he had 7 attempts to goal and only one successful one, and that was his second goal.
Another great example of Williams' use of the ball too, putting that ball out in front of Kappa, who was able to run at full bore at it and take it comfortably. So the Swans get a bit of breathing space. 9 points to the good, but Renstead wins it out of the centre. Out in front of Lewis. Toohey in pursuit. And even the genius of Lewis can do nothing but watch it go over between the wing and the Eagles' half-forward flank. The Eagles down by 9 points, with the Swans having kicked 2 goals to 1 in 6.5 minutes in this third term.
Keane got hands the ball first, picked up by Toohey, out to Roberts. Roberts is this, it's a good one. Back it comes out wide, and here comes Mitchell. Mitchell's got time to give a hand pass, then he decides on a foot pass. Too long it is, straight to Mainwaring. Mainwaring marks in the back pocket. He is looking, and he's going to give it in Brennan's general direction. Behind is Anea. Anea brings it down to Brennan. Brennan very slick to Glendinning. Glendinning, a long one. Look out, Narkle from Browning, and he beat Browning brilliantly. Then it's across to Davidson. Now you're in trouble, Holmes, and a good tackle by Roberts. Roberts crawling after it. Narkle with it. Holmes lost it. Roberts has frustrated them. Eventually Nagel with the ball, and the free kick has been paid to the Swans.
Well, it might have been a lucky one, but boy, Roberts deserves something, because twice he foiled the Eagles when they look set to break away. He's a real goer in defence. Poor attempt by Bays. Didn't go hard enough. Zanotti, well tackled, and being slung around, he was pointing in the direction of the boundary line as the ball met the boot, and the kick just went directly over the line, sideways to the intended direction. Henwood, one of his few kicks. Kappa from behind a screamer. Oh, great mark. Dennis Carroll up from halfback. Bolton, put Healy under pressure. Back to Bays, who's kicked 2 great goals. Can he do it again with the right boot? Not this time. Mainwaring in the way, and a behind to the Swans. They lead by 10 points at the 8-minute mark of the third term.
Well, Mr. Golden Boots Kappa is showing the West Australians what he can do. That's his 9th mark. and he's taken a few thrillers. Down it goes. From behind Coleman. Over the back Lamb. Very short but very clever to Zanotti. About centre wing is Zanotti. Good kick it is too to Scott. Well held up by Carroll, nicely out to Narkle. Narkle will left-footed looking for Bennett. Bennett and Carter. Carter all over him, and there's players everywhere. Out it comes to Murphy again. Murphy sends it beautifully out looking for Morwood, and Near's with him. Morwood from behind, and Near recovers better. In comes Williams, overruns it. Bolton helps him out. Morwood now running down the field. Bolton says, keep on going, Tony. Tony from the 50-metre mark sends it short. Up the mark, Mainwaring, beautifully done.
Tremendous attacking defensive work. Scuffle behind the play, but as play goes on, Lamb drives the Eagles back into attack, and it's a real punch-up at the other end of the ground. Holden missing the mark at half-back, and eventually, that's at the attacking end. The ball's at the other end, where the fight's on. Everyone involved. Henwood in there swinging with John Annear, and umpire Robinson about 80 metres away from where the ball is, having to break this one up. Finally, that's broken up, and finally umpire Cameron is satisfied at the other end that play can restart as the booing starts from 40,000 parochial Western Australians who are right behind the Eagles, who are deep in attack and have a scoring chance.
And out it comes towards Holmes, lost the run of it. Very desperate football once again. I think it's Roberts underneath those legs of Narkle, but it was beautiful football. But they've been looking for Henwood all day. He started off early showing a bit of unnecessary vigour to Henwood, and the Eagles are again him. Renstead out. Davidson's kick is beautifully smothered by Williams. Williams back to Roberts, who makes a terrible mistake. Lewis picks it up on the boundary line, steadies and snaps for goal and misses. Calm and cool as usual, but didn't kick so well.
Too tight an angle that time, right on the line. He had Phil Scott in the centre and Malaxis as well to give it to him.
9 points the margin. Target is Holden at half-back, and he took it well. Just held it long enough. In fact, umpire Cameron indicates a push in the back. I thought the mark was just about there anyway. Inside to Mitchell. Just gets the kick in time. Henwood beaten again by Glendinning. Henwood had front position, but lost it by backing back. Glendinning went after the ball, and Henwood, who was in the wars a moment ago, has given away 15 metres, and he's been a liability at centre-half forward. Glendinning long, Bennett up, looking to fist it to the back. Great knock on by Malaxos. Scott, Malaxos deserves a goal. Misses. My word, he set that up so well, he deserved a better result, but the margin is 8 points.
I think Malaxis could have got himself on his right foot then. He unnecessarily used his left.
A lovely slick hand pass of Scott's it was. Carroll kicks out wide, and it's a beautiful mark taken by Williams. And cleverly it goes on, and running with it is Murphy. Murphy caught by Brennan, and he thumps him to the ground. Oh, that was a big bump, and the free kick has been paid downfield by umpire Cameron. Murphy's up on his feet, but Brennan very vigorous that time. But Murphy's recovered very quickly. He's as tough as they come, and well done. And Henwood's taking the free, but Henwood is the arch enemy of the West Coast Eagles. Wayne Henwood now drives it downfield. Capper from behind. It was almost Morwood. Claimed there by Keane, and it's going to be Keane's. He was the giant who stood immobile with splendid judgment. Keane, ugly looking left footer. Awkward one there for Coleman. Back it comes to Ward, nicely taken by Holmes. In a flash to Renstead. Short, it goes out to the flank. Gasted's got the opportunity to give it across to Malaxos. Look out, Malaxos. And too high the tackle. Far too high the tackle. That was bad umpiring, and underneath it all, the Swans eventually will get a bounce of it as Potter was fighting for it.
The umpire Cameron was right in front of that. He was only a yard or two away, but I think he elected that was a duck. As I think
is that the way the rule book is?
It's not the way, but it's sometimes they use their imagination on that.
Right, does the roving. And there's another ball up. Well, when I was a lad and used to study the rule book diligently, I thought it was written into it that if a player put his head down into a tackle, he was liable to be penalised for holding the ball if he was caught. And the umpire compromised with the ball up. Coleman, but it's a nest of Eagles. Narkle, way out at half forward. Bennett's the target. Under the ball, it bounces. Through for a behind.
Carter's doing it well on Bennett, Tim. He's not giving him an inch, and as you say, he niggles and he's upsetting Bennett.
He's playing so close that he's stopping him getting the chance of that big leap, isn't he? It's really
he's stopping him breathing as well. Doug.
He might.
The strangler.
He would if he could. Downfield it goes. In front is Bays. One bite at it, turns onto that trusty left boot. He'll kick it long. Kicks it very long downfield underneath of the great Glendinning. Oh, he's like a rock. He's a beautiful player as this one. Given us many delightful games at North Melbourne, and he's playing a beauty for his team here. Oh, bad miss, Davidson. Eyes off the ball. An easy one, and a great opportunity lost. It's out of bounds. And Chris Lewis, the 17-year-old, taps him and says, "Don't worry, mate. We all make those mistakes." I don't think Lewis does.
Doesn't know what pressure is at 17, I suppose. Davidson roves to a beautiful knock from Keane. Close to the line. Gastev well tackled and dispossessed. And a throw in the result on the half-forward flank for the Eagles. Swans have made a change with Potter on the ground for the first time in the match. Keane again has rucked superbly. Davidson, they're forced backwards, but they win the ball. Matera, lead, nice delivery to Scott. Was that a push in the back? No. Crowd not happy. Neagle, Holden running into position. And couldn't quite get there. Throw in. Eagles half-forward flank, but a long way from goal. 75 metres out, and they trail by 7 points halfway through the third term.
For some reason, Swans haven't used Ironmonger this quarter yet.
I think they feel the way you felt earlier, Hayden. It's probably better to use Coleman. Here comes Narkle, dodging and twistering. Goes again. Beautifully done. Malaxos trouble. Slick, very slick pass, and it's missed by Scott. He threw his head back in the air as the ball hit the boot with dismay. And what a quick hand pass Steve Malaxos is. That was a magnificent hand pass.
Yes, he is sharp, Malaxos. He's like the other former teammates, and Chris Lewis and Davidson. They're all Claremont players. They're quick with it.
String of behinds by the Eagles. They're peppering away, but can't find the opening. Holden to space on the wing. And for another throw in. 11-9 plays 10-9. The Swans in front by a goal. The Swans have kicked 1-1 to 1-4 in this quarter, and the Eagles could well have converted about 3 of those missed opportunities. Keane again winning in the ruck. He's been absolutely superb. Lamb to half forward to Gastev. Mark Pade just held it long enough. Davidson in trouble. Renstead from a long way. Lewis, yes! Well, in the right place at the right time there as the kick dropped short from Renstead, and Lewis standing at the edge of the loosely termed goal square, which in fact is a rectangle marked just 12 metres out, will kick from slightly beyond that. And he's missed. 5 behinds in the term for the Eagles. They could have been 4 goals in front, but in fact trail by 5 points.
That was marked number 7 to Lewis, and he and Malaxos have missed 2 of the easiest ones you'd ever see. Out looking where it's Neagle, we've got to call him, running with the flight of the ball, missed it. No, it wasn't. It was Potter.
And Hayden's question's been answered. Ironmonger's on. As you just saw, Glenn Coleman, the man off the field.
Ironmonger in front. Keane up above him, wins it very, very well. Down goes Holmes. Mark tackle was too high, and Holmes will take the free kick. He's about 75 metres out, short pass across the ground, and well marked Bennett. Oh, it was never his. He stole that one, the big giant, but he really came in from the side beautifully. Magnificent athletic physique. He's 6'5", and he really can move, but I thought that wasn't going to be his ball.
Well, I think he must have said something to Anea because John Anea got out of the way of it.
Yep.
Left it to him, so he communicated with him.
Well, he's a big kick. Let's see what he can do with this one. It is big. It is very long, but it's well off direction through for 1 behind. And they have squandered some opportunities, have the Eagles.
1-6 for the quarter. And the 6 behinds have come in a string of uninterrupted shots. And really, that was about the hardest of them, and that was a set shot. Carter goes to half-back, but doesn't place it. Holmes has got it. Centering kick again to the other helmeted man, Narkle. Anea inside. So's Davidson under pressure. Too much pressure. Right. Big torpedo to the wing. Henwood beats Glendinning this time with front position. That's the spot to be. And Glendinning's fist punched the air. as Henwood brought down the ball. Into half forward. Capper from behind. Flew courageously with reckless courage at times. Into the back of Mainwaring he goes. And number 3 for the Eagles takes the free kick at half back. And meanwhile, Brennan of the Eagles, 5 metres away, is on the ground writhing in agony. And that could precipitate a change. One is being made at the moment with Wiley replacing Malaxos. And we might see another one in just a moment. Centre field and the Swans now. Mitchell, Healy, Long with a wobbly old punt. Capper from behind. Got the hands on it. Now Bays loves the left foot snapshot and really misses them. And that one's no exception. As the Swans show what conversion is all about. The Eagles peppered away for 10 minutes and couldn't kick one. And now Bays gets his 3rd, the Swans 12th, and they lead by 10 points as Brennan leaves the field.
Yes, as you said, Bays just the one opportunity, turned and gave himself plenty of room. I think that's where the Eagles are making their mistake. They're rushing their kicks. They don't have to really put them in as quickly as they do. At that time, you saw Bays certainly take all the time he had to steady himself.
Often the earmark of a champion, and young Mark Bays really does always seem to have so much time. He's a very graceful mover. Keane does battle with Ironmonger, pretty even Stephen. Matera goes straight out to Neagle. Neagle well tackled by Renstead, and the free kick will go to Renstead.
Great tackle, wasn't it?
Very good tackle from Murray Renstead. Out that wide half-forward flank to Anea. He better stop. He's caught. He didn't stop. It's picked up by Neagle, and off they go. He should have stopped. Neagle then kicks it looking for Capper, and Capper will make it. No, he didn't. Got it in the half volley. O'Connell in trouble, but he's well shepherded by Mainwaring. Mainwaring then kicks it down, and the mark is taken by Davidson.
That's out on the full.
Out of bounds on the full. I feared that. Too wide.
I just had a look at Capper. Oh, he'll be in it again here, Capper. Capper, the way he had to fall to get to almost take that mark. What else would have got there?
Almost an acrobat, Hayden. He's really quite exciting. Here they come again. Punched away from Henwood. Unlucky bounce for the Eagles there, and Healy boots them back into the danger zone again. Pushed out, I thought, was Bays. Zanotti thumps it a second time. Lamb picks it up at centre half back. A great hand. Look out, and near will be gathered in by Ironmonger. And Ironmonger's going to be shepherded by Davidson. Anea gets it, then hooks it down to centre half forward, looking for Bennett again. In front, the chances there for Holmes. Holmes can give it across towards the flank, and Lewis now steadies himself on the 50-metre mark. Kicks it beautifully to Holmes. Kicks it beautifully to Holmes, who takes the mark. And it's on again. He copped one.
Beautifully done by Lewis, I thought, because he just was outside scoring range, and he knew it, and there was no one back there, so he just sized it up and dropped in the short pass.
A little chip on a number 9 iron, that one. Yes. He had a chance to do it earlier, and I think he regretted not doing it from a very tight angle, and that time he made certain he looked for the in-player inside.
Holmes now, from about 35 metres out, kicks for goal, and they're clapping it through, and the roar from approximately 40,000 delighted West Australians, and the scoreboard is 77 points to the Eagles and 81 to the Swans.
And that keeps them well and truly in touch now. Malax is not off the field very long, back now into the centre, and Matera, a little rover going off for the Eagles.
So 22 minutes into the term, the margin just 4 points. It's rarely been greater than a goal. Sydney and Perth fighting a titanic struggle at the Subiaco Oval, as Ironmonger for a rare change wins at the centre bounce. Now Neagle, who's never been able to shrug off the Eagles' quick men. Lucky not to be penalised for holding the ball as umpire Robinson elects to bounce it. Just the Swans attacking side of the centre line. Matera's cop one and is off the ground. The Eagles having bad luck with injuries in this term. Malaxos, Zanotti. Now Davidson out in front of the pursuing Murphy. Good tackle from Murphy, but support from Lamb. Beats the Bolton tackle. Back to Davidson. High kick, not a good one. All the Swans, and well taken by Roberts. Bad hand pass, put Mitchell under enormous pressure. And away go the Eagles. Holmes. Chip pass for Wiley. Not as much pace in the old legs as there was 5 years ago. Oh, and Carter, I think fairly deliberately stumbles over the line and forces a throw in with the Eagles deep in attack and trailing by 4 points.
Once again, all started with a very slick hand pass from young Chris Lewis again. All big leap by Bennett. Out wide it comes, and Holden tackles Wiley underneath it, Mitchell, Potter. Nobody can break away. Very intense. Umpire Cameron will bounce it about the 25-metre mark. And there's some instructions coming down to Brennan. See how bad he is from Alexander. Big leap there. Over it goes to Mitchell. Mitchell downfield with a bad left footer. Into the crowd it goes. The free kick, of course, will go to the Eagles. And out wide, it's Holmes.
He could thread this Holmes if he gets the distance.
He gets a big one. Right down to the teeth of goal. It's a beautiful kick. Touch through, one behind.
Not a bad prediction though, Hayden.
Yes, it didn't catch too much wind. He allowed a little more than he needed to.
3 points the margin, and the Eagles have kicked 2-7 in this quarter. Glendinning from behind went for the mark. Zanotti, the halfbacks are up forward to the centre. Wild kick under pressure. Gastev, Malaxos push. No free kick. And finally, umpire Cameron calls for it.
Good decision there. It could have been holding the man there, but I think he was right alongside it again, and he allowed the game to play on.
Well played, Scott, that time, but it was sharked by Mitchell. Bolton comes in strongly, beaten by Malaxos. Out to Lamb. Lamb's in trouble. Terrible trouble. Lucky to get out of it. Kick off the ground by Mitchell's good football. An unlucky bounce for Morwood goes to Pios. Pios out wide. Look out, Davidson. Here comes Ironmonger. And the big fellow comes lumbering through and did it very well. Kicked it long over Pios's head. And Pios made a gallant effort against Bays. Bays there assisted by Morwood. He's tackled when not in possession. Humpy lets it go. Zanotti's tripped. He can go again now. Loves to run, does Mark Zanotti. Steadies and sends it down towards Bennett. From behind, the leap is Gastev. Roberts behind the pack. And they are really playing with intense pressure as players fall on top of the ball, and umpire Cameron will bounce it.
Yeah, that was almost taken by Gastev. He does a go at those all the time. I'm not sure.
Fly.
I think sometimes he doesn't take enough of them. He ought to stay wait on the ground at times. He might have interrupted his own players there.
Just in time on. As it was at half-time, the margin is 3 points. Whistle holding the man. Free kick to the Eagles. Holmes to take it. 35 metres out. And as pointed out a few minutes ago, he can kick and should kick this one. It would be his second for the quarter if he does, and it would give the Eagles the lead.
Yes, there was this one for them. There's no doubt about that. That's dead centre.
Straight as a die, and the Eagles hit the front at the 26-minute mark of the third term by 3 points. And in this quarter, Don Holmes, 6 kicks, 2 marks, 2 hand passes, and now 2 goals. And those last 2 have brought the Eagles back from a kick and a half down to 3 points in front.
There's the mouth guard out.
Yes, he and Narkle are great teammates. Have played together with Swantage over many years. Both wear helmets and both very similar in style.
And comes Ironmonger to battle with Keane, who gets it over the back very nicely. Renstead, who's been a good player in the centre of the ground. Bays high, look out right. You've got it awkward. Does it beautifully to Potter. Potter has time to kick and kicks it straight to Glendinning. Glendinning has played superbly at centre half back. Across it goes. Long from Anea. Malaxos. Down towards centre wing where it's Gastev and Roberts. Roberts in front. Bays has got the opportunity on the boundary line. I don't know what he tried to do there. Maybe just keep it in play. And it's over the line, out of bounds. Glendinning, 10 kicks, 7 marks and 7 handballs.
27 minutes gone in the quarter. Not a lot of goals kicked in this term. 3 to either side. Narkle tunnelling the hand pass for Gastev. Back to Narkle. Didn't come off. Dangerous manoeuvre. Neagle to Williams, and away go the Swans, but a good tackle from behind by Lamb. Now Bolton, Ironmonger. Long hand pass is good. Mitchell, forward of the centre as the Swans mount a late third quarter attack. Nothing to go to, nothing at all. And Main Waring waits underneath it and takes it oh so comfortably, and then delivers nicely to O'Connell, who's made position on the flank.
And the lead is given by Holmes further downfield. Holmes takes a good mark under a lot of pressure from Murphy. And Murphy, with his courage there, hesitates everything and did it well. Across, look out, Stephen Malaxos. Keane comes in to help him. Gives a chance to Malaxos. Very quick across to Pios. Pios in the centre of the ground. Sent it long downfield, and nobody at home, but almost taken, then lost in flight by Potter. Picked up by Carter. Carter has lots of time to wheel around. Sent it back to the centre of the ground. Up goes Malaxos. Down it comes to right. Play on to... No, umpire's whistle is gone. The free kick is going to Stephen Malaxos.
There's the offender, David Bolton, front on tackle as Malaxos was trying to mark. No doubt about it. Malaxos forward to the centre. Lovely long kick for Bennett. He's got plenty against him. At ground level, Davidson, impossible angle. Misses the whole lot. In fact, the goal umpire says they're behind, and the ball surely crossed the boundary line on the full. And if it's a one-point victory at the end of the day, Hayden, I think they might be a touch lucky after that.
I agree with that one, yeah. Davidson, once again, too deep in the pocket. He should have looked centre, and he did have two-play Scott there in his own.
Yes, I agree, Hayden. Had Scott waiting for it. It was bad play, Davidson. Hasn't played well, actually. Williams, one of his slick ones across towards Morwood. Morwood then drives it out wide, giving Henwood the run of the ball in front of Glendinning. Gets a good bounce. He hand passes into deep open territory. Lewis goes racing out. He's in front of Henwood. Isn't that absolutely spectacular? Beautifully done to Zanotti. Zanotti will have to hurry, and he's got early cases, Zanotti. Bolts away. Bay's pursuing him. Williams comes into him. Zanotti downfield. Bennett dumps it out and punches it. Picked up nicely by Malaxos to home. Steady and should put it through, but I think he might have. He did. And the crowd have erupted. They're jumping to their feet.
3 goals in the quarter to number 33. He's kicked their last 3.
How often does it start from Lewis, Hayden?
Well, that did it. Lewis picked that up with one hand, although he was up against Henwood. Henwood's not the quickest player around the place. In fact, he's fairly slow, even though he's a big man. But Zanotti, you're right. If he likes to run, he'll keep running. He was the one that placed it down deep. And that was a very slick bit of handball back to Holmes. And he said Holmes doesn't miss too many.
Just made it. Just made it.
A lot of balls going back, being handball back, and it's helping the Eagles.
Siren coming up, and in fact, there it is. It's three-quarter time at Subiaco. And the Eagles have come back with a 4-goal. Crowd roars at the start of the last quarter, and the Eagles first into attack. But Holden holds them out. Shoots the hand pass off to Toohey. To the wing, to Coleman. Oh, and he misses what he should have taken. That wasn't too difficult. Well put down by Glendinning. Morwood, right. Caught between 3 of them. Roberts to half forward. Front position, Mitchell. Well played, Mainwaring, a good defender. And a free kick to Mainwaring and a tangle with Mitchell. But the snowy-haired back pocket, wearing number 3, with the benefit of 15 metres, will drive the Eagles out of momentary danger. Now it becomes 30 metres, and Mainwaring comes almost to the centre line and kicks towards the ever-dangerous Lewis, who has 2 against him, and Toohey takes the mark.
I notice the Sydney Swans have Glenn Coleman at centre half forward on Glendinning, which just doesn't surprise me.
Yes, down towards Pios now. Over the back, and well played O'Connell, who backed his judgment, came out in front of Kappa, and he's played pretty well against Warwick Kappa. Out wide it goes, and the opportunity's there for Anea. Anea on half-back flank, holds up play. Look, there's Rob Wiley, I thought was alone, he wasn't. Close behind him was Tony Morwood. Chance for Ironmonger. Punched away from him. Close to the pack is Williams. Williams drives it out wide looking for Coleman. Coleman gets the call. Mitchell says, leave it to me, and takes it on his chest. Now, Kappa leads. Mitchell ignores it and kicks it long. Kicks it long enough to make it very, very close, but not quite close enough. One behind.
That's the end that they've all been having trouble with, the City end. The wind does catch it there. It loses the wind effect.
But it looks as though the breeze might just be blowing that way in this last term. We'll get your comments on that in a moment, Hayden, but play goes on. Bolton, very quiet today and well held. Hasn't been his aggressive self by any stretch of the imagination, although he's giving a bit of an ear scrub at the moment and getting one back for his quarter, and a ball up on the Swans half-forward flank. But is that the doctor coming in and perhaps favouring that end slightly?
Yes, it's coming in, and it'll favour that end if you keep it on that outer flank. If you get into the stand side flank, it'll favour the other end, so it goes around in a swirl.
Well, Narkle and Bolton continuing the fight. Narkle gets the ball. He's been a very good player, but he lost that one. Chance for Lamb. Lamb is well tackled by Wright. Wright on the ground. Crawling after it was Neagle. Neagle appealing for a free kick, but it's not on. But Narkle has been a fine player today because his opponent has been Merv Neagle, who's a recognised champ, and Narkle's taken the points.
Having trouble keeping his helmet on at the moment. Off his head twice in the last 30 seconds or so. Ironmonger with good strength and a long left footer. Kappa comes from behind. Oh, he couldn't quite reach it with the fingertips as he lay on the ground. And it's a West Coast free kick. O'Connell to take it. In fact, he gives it away to Mainwaring on the umpire's instruction. Another spectacular leap from Kappa, and that would have been the mark of the day had he pulled it in. Well played, Healy. Now Neagle, quiet player on the wing, inside 50 metres. Long, good-looking kick. Just hit the post, flipped it. And it might have clipped the inside of it. It was almost home, so the Swans get their second behind for the term and trail by 8 points.
Neagle, a very dangerous player when he gets near goal, running down from the wing, as that proved. Out wide, Keane and Ironmonger. Ironmonger got into Keane's back. Lamb picks it up. Cleverly across it goes Narkle. Narkle back to Lamb is good football. Lamb's now centre wing, veering down towards the half-forward flank and sends it long. Out towards Bennett. Bennett almost held it, punched away by Carter. Down they go. And Near tries to get it out to Malaxoff. He fumbles for once, but he fights on to Steve Malaxoff. Sends it for goal. Up go the pack, and it's all the Swans. And I thought the mark was taken that time by Roberts, but it's or by Toohey. It's played to him anyhow.
Yes, as you called it, Douglas, and good decision, I think, from the umpire. He got 2 good grabs. Goes for Ironmonger, good mark, and the big fellow's really lifting his game in this last term. Williams, a poor kick for a change. Zanotti, pressure from Bays. Williams in the way, beautiful ball control, took that so easily. Roberts puts the Swans into attack. Coleman, good spoil Glendinning. Well done, Glendinning. Now he's lost it. Mitchell, the Swans, they're in numbers. Coleman, inside 50 metres. Backwards, Bolton. Long for Kappa. One out with O'Connell. Kappa! From behind, or no, it was the front man. I thought Kappa had first hands, but O'Connell came down with it, was the man in front, and on that evidence, he won the day.
Well, they both had it. O'Connell gets the decision because he was in front.
And he'll be a hero tonight, will O'Connell, because it really looked like a Kappa sit from behind when he got up so beautifully. It was so close. Out wide it goes. Neagle's going to fly with Keane. Let Healy take it, Neagle. Out to Bolton. Bolton can run, but he's caught with a gallant diving tackle by Malaxoff. Down goes Morwood. Well played, the West Coast Eagles. Out wide from Malaxoff and Zanotti and Bays. Here's 2 exciting runners. Well played, Zanotti. Over the line it goes, and he gains about 20 metres for his side. And the crowd are enjoying it. The crowd are loving it. It's out of bounds, centre wing position.
Well, a doer struggle. A goalless first 5.5 minutes in this quarter. The Swans doing all the attacking and the Eagles girding their loins to hold them out. Williams to half forward. Mainwaring. Little nudge. Yes. Free kick. He doesn't wait to go back and take it. Runs the full measure and more, and he's been penalised.
And more, you were right, Tim. Perhaps 1 yard too many.
Yes, just the one stride. Umpire Cameron's whistle just beat his kick, but it was a fair decision. He ran a long way, further than the legal 15 metres. Bays to Kappa. Kappa this time. Great mark. He didn't really have the run at the ball then. He just had to try and outstretch O'Connell from behind and did it very well. He's been an effective player despite the fact that he's only kicked 2 goals from the key forward post. He should kick his third. He should now because he's got 15 metres, and that's very poor work by O'Connell, who might be an anti-hero now, Douglas Hayward.
I think that fella standing pointing at him, the anti-hero, that Peter Cameron, actually.
Yes, you've got to earn a 15 metres. It can't be given just to some sort of a comment you may make.
Kicks from 15 metres, steers it through for his third, and the margin back to 2 points at the 7-minute mark of the final term. And have we got a struggle at Subiaco on ABC Sport?
Yes, we have, Tim, and I thought that right from the start, the Kappa might have been the problem in this last quarter. It's been going through my mind with the inefficiency of the centre-half forward area. They might have, Tom Havey might have brought Kappa out to centre-half forward on Glendinning, because they're not really getting in there, even with Coleman there now. But I think if they can get it over the top of that line down to Kappa, he'll finish it off.
Yes, at least Coleman's making a contest of it. Up until then, Glendinning had a lovely run. Well, Dave Keane lost to Healy there with the ball. Left foot to it. Down it goes over the back of Lamb, and Mainwaring handles it, then loses it. Bolton, the runners after him. Stevie Wright's with the ball. Wright balks cleverly, then gives it to Williams. Williams then sends it beautifully to Bays. Bays 30 metres out. Left foot shoot for goal and puts it straight through. Number 4 to Bays. He's looking a very, very promising, dangerous, ominous half-forward flanker.
And Ron Alexander sees the Eagles lose the lead at the 8-minute mark of the final term. And no doubt he's got a few ideas that he wants passed on.
I would think if he's saying follow Williams down when he goes down into that forward line, he's a danger. Williams put the ball over. No sign of Renstead coming down after him.
So the Swans grab the lead. 4 points in front after trailing by 10 at three-quarter time. And once again, the Eagles are in their customary position of having to come from behind in the last quarter. And the Swans into attack through Healy. Mainwaring. Zanotti brushed aside. Bolton. Mitchell inside 50 metres. Bad kick. Behind, and the margin is 5 points in Sydney's favour. But they are doing all the attacking and looking full of running in the first 10 minutes of this last term.
Actually, Diamonger's dominating this last term. He's been quite magnificent on the ball. He started so many moves forward. Here comes Glendinning again, sent it very long. It's all nicely shepherded there. Lewis was kept out very cleverly as Healy took the mark too. He was the good shepherder. Out wide towards Morwood. Morwood brilliantly spoilt by Pios. Over the side it goes out of bounds, but the Swans are still in attack and they're leading by 5 points. Now as Coleman comes in to do battle with Scott. Coleman front position. He's playing at centre half forward. Williams almost, it did take it well. Gets into trouble. Back it goes. Glendinning intercepts it well. Sent it down straight to Ironmonger, who takes the mark. Across in a flash to Healy. On to Carroll. The captain then kicks it very long. Capper and Morwood in lovely position. They spoil each other, and Stephen Wright, the third one, rams it through. Well, that was not good team football. They both wanted to take the big grab. Stevie Wright got them out of it and kicks the goal. What did you think, Hayden?
Well, I thought that perhaps Morwood should have given some indication to the captain to take it, or the other way around. One of them should have made up their mind that they were going to keep out of it. And I think it may have been Morwood that should have given the indication, because Capper had his eye on the ball. Morwood could see Capper coming in. I think it was Capper to take the mark, Morwood to call him into it. But Steve Wright made the difference. He made the saw of it anyway.
His third goal, and the Swans get to an 11-point lead at the 10-minute mark. And it looks dangerous for the Eagles, with the Swans swamping them so far in this last quarter. Scott in ruck against Ironmonger, who after 3 bad quarters has lifted his game heroically in this last term and is taking on the Eagles' big men and giving them a clobbering when it really counts. Here they go again. Scott the bigger run at the ball, but Ironmonger won it to Williams, who's tackled high by Lewis, and the Diesel takes the free in the centre of the ground, and there's a West Coast player down, Gastev.
Yeah, I can tell you all about that one too, Tim. Gastev has been having a fight down there with Carroll. I'm not saying at all that I saw that happen, but Gastev has been looking very belligerent behind play. I saw he and Carroll having a bit of a sparring match, and somebody's told him, keep your peace, young man, and floored him.
Williams takes the kick again and drops the short pass to Carroll, who kept on running perhaps. Kicks long towards Capper. Goal! Coleman waiting down at the back, the big man. Kicks the Swans fourth in 11 minutes in this last term, and the margin now looks very imposing at 17 points.
Well, this Coleman's no rover, but the luck of the bounce. That ball came up to him, off the ground. The long kick by Carroll. It's not a good kick because it doesn't revolve in the air right, but Capper goes for it. It's over the top, and it just comes up to Coleman. It was a good bounce for him, and he finished it off.
He's certainly done a lot better there than Henwood did. He's a bit lucky there, as Hayden explained, but he's done better. He's contested. Down it comes. Well, very quick there from Mitchell. Williams playing a wonderful last term as well to Neagle. He then hooks it downfield, and it's all the West Coast Eagles. It's easily taken by Anir in front of Bolton. Anir gives it to Glendinning. Well shepherded by Pios was Bolton. Glendinning beautifully out to Lamb. Lamb a tackle by Healy and held up. Got nobody really to give it to. Renstead's out in the half-forward flank now. He's been moved. Downfield it goes. Underneath it, Robertson, Malaxos. Malaxos recovers, but it's taken away by Holden. Over the back it goes towards Carroll. Carroll right on the boundary line, hooks it back, and it's well hooked back to Ironmonger, who's playing a great last term. Dangerous hand pass. Zanotti takes it away from Healy. Zanotti then drives it down, looking there for Narkle. And Narkle, gallant effort, but well done, Neagle. And once again, they're out of danger through Holden.
Receiving from Williams and delivering beautifully to Bays on the outer wing, just below the scoreboard, as Brennan prepares to come back into the fray. Bays receives the benefit of a 15-metre penalty and kicks long to Morwood. Oh, that was too easy. Pios getting caught under the ball, and Morwood taking it very comfortably. A very accomplished aerialist, and with Pios misjudging that badly, it was made easy for Tony Morwood.
A lovely pair of half-forward flankers they've got now, Tim, with Bayes on one side and Morwood on the other.
And he's only 35 metres out as the change comes with Brennan onto the field. And Morwood misses. And there's a huge collective sigh of relief from 40,000 or so Western Australians who realise that the Eagles are still alive, but had that gone through, they may be just about gone. They trail by 18 points, approaching the 14-minute mark, and the Swans are running all over them.
Forwards kick 2-4. Huge leap by Coleman above Glendinning that time, when Glendinning in front position looked to be in very good shape, and Coleman shows tons of endeavour. He's beautifully built. Big, strong, 6'5" and plenty of weight. Williams again. Coleman barges through and then loses it. Kicked off the ground, goes to Lamb. Lamb then sends it back towards centre half forward. Away from Brennan, past Malaxos to Anea. Anea is tackled nicely by Neagle. Gets it out towards Lamb again. Lamb should give it across towards Gastev. Gastev's got the opportunity if he can get away from Bolton. He can't. Back it goes to Lamb. Lamb's lost it. Great tackling by Bolton started all of that. Tui gets it out wide towards centre wing position. Murphy dodges beautifully. Sends it back to centre half forward. Tony Morwood in front. A great spoil by Pios.
Now Ironmonger with a big job in front of him, but does it well. Not accurately, though. Anea with 10 metres to spare. Good-looking pass for Bennett. Hipped out Carter, but couldn't get near the ball. Bennett off the ground. Still the Swans in good position. Tui, Carroll, and the skipper floats the hand pass to Holden. Back towards the centre, Williams, and the Swans out of danger. Williams doing well in the last turn, right on top in the pivot. Mitchell nicely inside. Roberts a long way upfield from back pocket. Has a look for Kappa, who's got the sit, and he's got the mark. Beautifully done by Kappa. Inside 25 metres, and he might just about drive home the final nail.
Holds his ground well here to leave keep O'Connell out. O'Connell trying to get back. The drop of the ball, just a slide nudge with the forearm. It's all allowed, it's part of the game. And took the foot to die from there.
Kappa for number 4. He's done it, and the Swans lead by exactly that margin, 4 goals. And all credit to Warwick Kappa, who's really put in a great performance today. Only 2 goals took 3/4 time, but really a 4-quarter performance in this match. And interesting to have a look at this mark. A Western Australian might call it a forearm nudge. A Sydney sider would call it a hip, but probably a bit of both.
Well, I thought it's in the game. I can't see why it should be penalised. You know, it's body on body, and if Connell had come back a lot harder, he may have been able to still push Kappa further back, but it wasn't to be.
Williams has had a great quarter with 8 possessions. Out wide it goes to Glendinning.
That's why I think Renstead's off on the half-forward flank. He wasn't anywhere near him for most of the quarter.
Yes, you've got to follow Williams all over the ground. He's just a magnificent player. Malaxos, Wiley, back it comes to Renstead. Underneath it, Ironmonger makes a good effort and does it well, and in comes Big Rod Carter. The old man does it pretty well and pushes it over the line out of bounds. Started in 1974, did Rod, with Fitzroy. Went across to Association football, then back to the Swans, and then to the Swans. And what a good player he's been for them.
Ironmonger, one of the heroes of this last term, and the Swans have had many. Ironmonger's had 2 kicks, 2 marks, 3 hand passes and 5 hit-outs in this last term after being well beaten for most of the day.
Talking about Carter, he's kept Bennett down to 2 goals, and he's also giving a nervous breakdown, I would say.
Ironmonger again, good hand pass to Tui, tunnels the kick. Murphy, acceleration, but evidently took the ball over the line. There's a fight on. Is it Carter again? It's about 30 metres away from the spot we're watching at the moment.
Good Ironmonger.
The big fellows, the Colossi, coming to grips. And John Ironmonger's been the top Colossus in this last term, and he wins again beautifully. And Murphy gets the Mitchell the clearing kick to the centre, but well taken Glendinning. Another one of the day's heroes. Lamb well smothered. Glendinning's soccer was smothered. Not so Healy's. Kappa, O'Connell, and Mainwaring, and now Wright. Push in the back. No free kick. Healy Coleman off the ground. No one there for the Swans. No one there for the Eagles. Morwood. Now Bolton offline. And the Swans lead by 25 points at the 18-minute mark, and they've kicked 5-5 to zilch in this last quarter.
That was a wasted opportunity there by Bolton. He had Kappa there in the middle again, and he went for the goal. And
Ross Glendinning was looking very tired as he raced after that ball, and the Swans looking $1 million out to Mitchell. It goes. Mitchell very cleverly. Bolton will be caught. A good tackle it was from Anea. Anea then picks it up. Tackled by Wright. Across it to Mainwaring. Mainwaring, they're under tremendous pressure, the Swans. Too high was the Bolton tackle. The advantage rule is played as Pios kicks it downfield, and in they come, and Holden's the man who thumps it over the line out of bounds. And it really is the Swans' quarter with a vengeance.
And don't they deserve credit? Hafey is criticised at times for perhaps overtraining players, but the training, the hard work really paying off here today. We've seen them play some tremendous first quarters in Sydney, but they're doing it at the business end of this match. Neagle to half forward. Mainwaring in front, dropped the head. Mitchell well tackled. Zanotti also well tackled by Wright, and penalised for holding it. And the Swans' hard tackling and aggression is really telling in this last term. Wright goes for Kappa. Didn't quite reach him. Bays, the left footer, always dangerous, but couldn't keep it in. 19.5 minutes gone. The Swans 25 points clear, and they look home.
Ron Alexander has moved Brennan on to Kappa belatedly at this stage as he's taken over. He took over from O'Connell. Anea, he should have done something better than that. Malaxos will get out of it, however. Across to Lewis. Lewis is about centre-half back. Then he gives to Zanotti. Zanotti's going to look for one of those runs. Sends it out to an open half-forward flank. Nobody at home at all except the Swans. Here comes Carroll. Steadies, and a beautiful kick out to Mitchell. Mitchell is a very, very much improved player. He's one of the stars of the Swans now. Here's a young man who's really looked absolutely delightful in Bays. Sends that typical long left footer. Kappa in front of Brennan, beats him. Can't hold it. Bolton comes in, gives it to Kappa. Kappa breaks the tackle and kicks it badly. It looked a certainty. He was only about 10 metres out.
Yeah, Bolton's lifted a lot this quarter. He's an impressive player to me, Bolton. Tackles hard, uses players around him.
And hasn't had one of his best days today. Murphy in the path of that kick in. Another good performance from the young winger. Williams back inside to the running Murphy. Into trouble, out of it. Whistle and a high tackle. And Murphy gets another kick. He's inside 50 metres, so he may well have a shot and could post his second goal for the match. I don't think the Swans really need it at this stage, although they'll take everything they can get, of course. But they are 26 points in front at the 21-minute mark, as Murphy kicks long but inaccurately, very inaccurately. In fact, he missed the behind post by about 7 or 8 metres, so he doesn't register. But it's been all the Swans with 5-6 to 0 in this last term.
Yes, we've mentioned the great quarters that Ironmonger and Williams have had, similarly as Healy, with 8 possessions this quarter. And here gets it across to Lamb. Lamb can give it in towards Davidson. Davidson about centre-half back. No, it's Mainwaring. He gets to Rob Wiley. Wiley's had a pretty quiet day, the man we've seen so much of in Victoria. What a wonderful player he was for the Tigers, 95 games of it. Ironmonger showing some desperation. Mitchell across. Roberts gives it to Wright. In it comes to Williams. Williams then kicks it beautifully out to Morwood, and that has been typical of Williams' play for this quarter. Some splendid... Oh, this is not too good. Bolton back to Morwood. Morwood can give it to Mitchell if he wishes to. He does. Mitchell running with the flight of the ball, can't quite make it. Kappa comes in. Williams has got... Mitchell's got the chance now. Mitchell out, it was over the line, out of bounds with all that fiddling, and it'll be thrown in. But the Swans are looking pretty weary to me, Hayden.
Well, both sides are...
I'm sorry, I meant the Eagles.
Yes, the Eagles are. I've noticed that, they're up and down on the spot, some of them.
22.5 minutes gone. Keen front position against Coleman. Glendinning. Indefatigable. Looks for Gastev, who looked at the man coming from the side in Potter and didn't go at the ball. Carroll. Now Williams, champion sentiment and a real champion in this last quarter. The hand pass put Potter under the hammer, and he's penalised. Narkle takes the free kick. But a great performance this from the Swans. Oh, high fly from Roberts. Didn't get a hand on the ball. Holmes dispossessed. The Swans' tackling has been crippling in this last quarter. Advantage paid. Anir. Great smothering again. This time it's Tui. And the Swans just too tough in this last quarter. Murphy, dangerous hand pass. But the Swans are there in numbers. Or were. Zanotti back to half forward. And the Eagles too tired, I think, to really mount a serious offensive. Neagle right. The pursuer Renstead, who's faded right out of the game and on a half-forward flank, hasn't had a chance to be in it since being exiled, banished from the centre, and a throw in the end result.
Swans are also having their troubles with being tied to. They've a little bit of mishandling in that last passage of play.
There's Williams in front. He's played a magnificent term. Holden nicely done. Sends it long downfield. Over the back, it was almost taken there by Potter. Potter's got a lot of time. Nobody's worrying him. Then he gets it back. Kicked down there by Mitchell. Underneath, it's going to be another Kappa Brennan, and in comes Glendinning to help them and beats them. But Kelvin Templeton was telling us that in the sprints up there in Sydney, Williams is always about 20 metres behind when they have a 100-metre sprint, but he's always where the ball is, and I guess in this last term, they've come back to his pace a little, and he's looking absolutely magnificent. Out of bounds.
As O'Connell leaves the field, great battle with Kappa. Kappa's won with 4 goals and a hand in others. Morwood just marked inside by Mitchell. And really, I think the Swans deserve a lot of credit. This is going to be a very difficult ground to win on during the season. And after 2 excellent first-up performances, they've shown yet again today that they are a real threat this year. Good kick by Mitchell, but just hooked slightly. And are behind the result. And some of the 40,000 or so at Subiaco are leaving, with the Swans 27-point leaders, seconds into time on in this final term.
Brennan to Glendinning. And the captain certainly hasn't shown any signs of flinching. Then drives it down towards the centre and looking for Scott. Scott in front, over the back it goes to Healy, who's been sensational. Look at that thundering kick. Kappa behind will mark it. He does. He really has done some splendid strength marking from behind and richly deserves this goal, incidentally. Here it is on camera, Hayden.
That was a particularly long kick. It carried all the way. Kappa's got an ability to read the flight of the ball very early, make position very early.
I was saying to Hayden earlier before the match, the 2 people to watch are Healy and Williams, and Kappa the 3rd, and now that's his 5th goal. But Williams and Healy have been sensational this final term, and Kappa, great credit to him, his 5th goal.
Well, that was Healy's kick that went down to Kappa. That was a long kick. Screwed it. It just kept carrying down. And yes, well, I said before the term started, this would be a problem quarter for the Eagles with Kappa down this end where the wind is taking the ball a little, and it's just been too much for both opponents.
10 marks, 12 kicks, and 5 goals, 3 for Kappa. An outstanding performance. And the Eagles at home have met their match in the Sydney Swans, who stormed forward through Bays from 55 metres. He could kick it. He got the distance, but missed the target.